So what I'm about to teach you is a foolproof system that literally anyone can use to get to their first 10K a month online using copywriting. And to prove that, here are some of the real results from our coaching clients who have been implementing this system inside of my private community.
Okay, so the first thing we have to focus on, the foundations of becoming someone who can make 10K a month with copywriting, is firstly, your ability. Now, it makes sense that if you wanted to become a professional athlete or you basically wanted to do anything at a high level, it doesn't matter if I throw you into an environment where, let's say you want to become a footballer and I throw you into a game at Manchester United. If you've never played football before, or if you've only played it at a low level, you're not going to have the ability to compete and to actually perform at the level that you need to. So if you're not able to do that, then you're not going to be able to last. So it doesn't matter how good you become at actually getting clients as a copywriter. If you can't actually deliver results for people, you're not going to last. And so this is why copywriting is different to basically every other business model. Lots of other business models like social media marketing or something, like if you build an agency where you aren't actually fulfilling the service, first of all, you have to deal with about 50 different moving parts. You have to basically trust that if you get a client, that some contractor in Pakistan is able to deliver results for this person, and this is a person that you've never met before or trusted, or you don't know anything about their ability. So the beautiful thing about copywriting is that you can actually control your ability by the amount of work that you put in to getting good at the skill. And that's why it's also a lot easier to learn than any other business model, because you just focus on getting the skill, and then all it is just selling it. Get yourself in front of business owners who can pay you to do it. So how do you actually get good at copywriting? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to learn. There are two real steps here. It's learning and practice. So if you want to learn how to become a good copywriter, you just have to consume as much information as humanly possible about copywriting. That means taking in courses, books, podcasts, everything you can get your hands on. My channel is literally built for people who are beginner copywriters. And so if that's a position you're in, you can go through all of my videos after this one and basically action everything I'm teaching you here, because it's all free. And the only thing we charge for at my company is the coaching. So once you learn, it's all about practice then. The next thing you have to do is actually put into action the stuff that you're learning. So you're never going to get good at copywriting if you can't actually write copy. So you learn all this stuff about the foundations, and then all you have to do is basically choose a couple of things like emails, YouTube scripts, ad scripts, landing pages. You learn all about this as we go through, but pretty much all you have to do then is start writing practice versions of those. So think about the types of companies you want to work with, and then just write examples of what you would like to get paid for. And so you do that over and over again every single day, and that's your ability. That's where you start to become a good copywriter, right? And so there's a lot more in this, but obviously this video is basically just an overview of the entire system, the entire roadmap, and I'll walk you through the entire system that you need to get to that 10K a month. So this is the first one, ability. Then we move on to niche. So then you want to choose a niche, and this one pairs in very, very much with the next one, which is about your offer. So these two pretty much are like partners, right? And why is that? Well, because basically you want to find an offer. An offer is pretty much just the service that you're going to offer people and the price point that you're going to sell it at. So let's say you write a YouTube script for someone. Let's say you work with big YouTubers and you script out the video that they're going to make for their audience, and you pretty much charge like $500. So your offer is YouTube creators, and you can sub-niche that down. You could work with YouTube tech channels, and you could say, hey, I'm going to write your scripts for your tech videos. Give me something you want to review and I can write a script for it. Then you can just record the video and deliver that to your audience. And for that, I'm going to charge you $500. So your offer pretty much pairs up here with your niche, and your offer is that I write YouTube scripts for $500 a video. Now, there are different types of offers that you can do. So you can do a per project offer, which is what I just talked about, which is, yeah, I'm going to do this thing for this price every single time. Or you could offer a retainer, which is where you have a set price monthly, and this is how much you want to charge. So let's say instead of saying, okay, I'm going to write $500 per project, I'm going to do $3,000, and you get as many scripts as you want from me, right? And so usually you'll want to set a set amount of scripts so they don't ask you to do like 50, but you can basically say like, I want to get 3K a month up front, and that means you're just paid, right? So you don't have to worry about like, is this guy going to pay me per project? Am I going to make enough this month? This way you can actually just basically give yourself a salary from your business, which is 3K, right? And now, what are the sort of benefits of per project and doing it per month? Well, per project gives you a lot more flexibility. It means you can work with different clients, you can learn different types of copy and work with different people who you may have other opportunities with in the future. And it also allows you time and location freedom where you're like, okay, I just want to do, for this month, I'm going to take on lots and lots of projects. I'm going to make a ton of money, and then I'm going to take 3 months off. Whereas with a retainer, you're kind of locking yourself in with a client where you're saying, okay, 3K a month, you're getting paid probably more money, but it's probably less work. It's probably a lot more consistent. It's more like a job that you control a lot more than an actual job because you're in control and you get to decide how much work you do. But those are the main differences between retainers and per project, right? And so there's one more, and this is kind of where copywriters are able to scale. So any copywriter who wants to make 10K a month, their best route to do so, or the best route to get past 10K a month, is pretty much by asking for revenue shares. So let's say you want to work with a company and they sell a skincare product, and you've been writing copy for them for a couple of months, and then you say, okay, they tell you they want to launch a new product, and you say, okay, we're going to create a full like sales funnel. We're basically going to build this whole thing out that's going to sell your product really, really well. I will help you make a ton of money with this new product that you wouldn't otherwise make if I wasn't here. And so for that, you could say to them, hey, look, I'll write all of this stuff out. I'll take a really small upfront fee or a decent sized upfront fee, but I'll take an upfront fee that's not too crazy. And instead of having a crazy upfront fee, I'm going to charge 5% on the sales of that product. So let's say they sell like $50,000 worth of that product every month. Thereafter, you can then charge like 10%, let's say, or 5% of whatever that is. So that way you're basically getting equity in that business, which is a really smart way to play it. And I've seen people make a lot of money doing that. So those are the 3 key offers that you can make. And this is the first thing that you do before you do anything else to try and make money as a copywriter. You firstly have to actually understand, like, what am I selling to people? Who are the people I'm selling it to? And am I good enough to sell it, right? So once you have these 3 nailed down, this is where we move on to the interesting parts of the system. So get good as a copywriter, choose who you want to work with, and create an offer, right? And obviously I have videos on all of this stuff. The next thing we want to do is our outreach, right? And outreach is obviously where we reach out to businesses who we would want to work with. And so we've got a couple of different options here. So first of all, I'm actually going to show you Upwork first. So Upwork is a tool. It's a website where you can basically offer your services for a project price. And you've probably heard of Upwork before, or Fiverr. And it's a pretty good one for beginners to get into because you don't have to basically set up a system for outreach like you would on these other sort of platforms, but it's a lot more beginner friendly because you can take on projects that aren't paying crazy amounts of money, but they'll give you experience and case studies. You know, as you want to grow, you'll need to get more case studies. You need to basically have a case study that says, hey, I'm a copywriter and this proves it. I got more sales for this guy that I worked with on Upwork. And then a business is way more likely to take you seriously whenever you've actually got proof of what you do. So Upwork, how does Upwork work? So basically on Upwork, you will set up a profile, right? So you'll set up a little bit about yourself. You will add a list of skills that you have, like your key skills. Let's say it's email marketing. Let's say you write VSLs. Let's say you write all of these different things. And when you do that on Upwork, you've basically built a profile that all of your future potential clients will look at. So you need to make sure that your profile looks really professional and clean. So I recommend, like, most beginners make the mistake of, even when they small things that makes a business owner know that you're a beginner compared to know that you're a professional, right? It's stuff like having a shitty profile picture. So if your profile picture is just you out with your friends, or you in a shirt in a selfie in your room, it looks really unprofessional and a business owner is not going to take you seriously. So I highly recommend you go out there and get an AI headshot generator. You're not going to go and, I mean, if you've got any photographer friends, get them to take a professional photo of you. But it's a lot easier to just upload a ton of photos of yourself to an AI headshot generator that will make some professional, nice, clean looking headshots. Make that your profile picture. Write a bit about yourself, about why you're good, what you do, who you specifically help. You know, you're flexible, you can do this, you can do that. Basically sell yourself on your profile, right? Then the next thing, you want to build a case study site. Now, this is really simple. This is a one-page website where you basically demonstrate whenever you've gotten a case study, and I teach people inside our private coaching community how to get a case study. But if you want to get one without experience, you basically have to do some free work for people and you basically have to work a lot without getting paid. Not work a lot without getting paid, but you pretty much have to get a case study in the door, whatever means necessary. Get a case study in the door, because as soon as you get that, it's like 10x easier to close clients on Upwork and everywhere else. So this is just a quick page that has a VSL. A VSL is a video sales letter, if you don't know what that is, and it pretty much is like a little presentation where you sell yourself for like 2 to 3 minutes, and you say why you can help businesses, exactly what your offer is, why you're good at that, and proof of the results that you've gotten for somebody else, right? So once you've got your case study site, the next one we have is to send proposals. So when you're sending proposals on Upwork, this is pretty much where you go on the dashboard and you see all of these jobs that are listed, and they want someone like you. They want a copywriter. So you send a proposal. It's pretty much like sending a job application into a business. And so they'll list the project that they have. They'll list their budget. It's probably like $1,000 or $500. And you just basically send a proposal of like, hey, I should work with you. Here's why I should work with you. I specialize. I can do it in 2 days, or I can do it in 3 days, or whatever it is. And there's a couple of things you can do to boost your chances of getting your proposals actually accepted. So when you send a proposal, you have to understand that there are probably 100 other copywriters sending their proposals to that person, and whoever gets the job is the one that gets paid. So obviously you want to get paid. And so the best advice I can give you, it's very, very simple. You want to look for your best matches. So there's going to be a section when you go on Upwork, and it'll show you like your best matches, the jobs that fit you perfectly. And you also want to go for jobs that are less than 10 days old, because if they're longer than 10 days old, it's very, very likely, like the longer a post has been up, it's more likely that someone else has already filled that role and it just hasn't been listed on the website. Like someone's just privately gone off and worked with that person. Now, another thing that's just an absolute like life hack, if you want to get clients, once you've done all your work and you've shown that you're a good like copywriter, and when you know that whenever this person, the business owner, sees you, that there's a high chance of them actually wanting to work with you, then you just boost your chances for $5, right? So you can pay pretty much like $5-10 per post, and that will boost your proposal to the top. So like I said, there might be 100 people apply, but pretty much whoever the person, the business owner, sees at the top is the one that's going to actually get the job. Because think about it, like on Google, why would you go to page 3 when you could just see the results on page 1? And it also shows the business owner that you spent $5 to boost themselves on your job, and their job, and that you're really serious about working with them. So that's the next thing, is whenever we want to work on Upwork, this is the first way you want to get clients, right? And you build your profile, you have your case study site, you send your proposals, and so there's one more thing, okay? I will actually show you this first, because I've got a couple of things. I've so much to show you in this video, bro. It's so exciting. So the next thing, whenever you get someone on Upwork, right? Let's say you've sent a proposal to a business owner and they DM you and accept your proposal, and they're like, all right, I want to speak to you about working together. They're not just going to pay you there and then. You have to actually speak to them in the DMs. And so generally what happens is you're trying to sell yourself. You're basically having a little conversation about the project. So they'll say, hey, can you do X, Y, Z? How long is it going to take? Blah, blah, blah. And that's where you qualify them via the DMs. Now, what I mean by qualify them is we pretty much are going to try a couple of different outreach methods here in this video. I'm going to show you loads of different ways to get clients. And so with this specific one, with Upwork, they're already qualified, right? So we like to break it down into qualified and unqualified. But if you're doing this through Upwork, they're always qualified, because you've reached out to them yourself and they've actually listed the job that they want to pay money for. So once you qualify them, so once you just basically speak to them in the DMs, you want to book them onto a quick sales call where you basically just speak to them about, hey, I want to actually get you results here. You know, they pretty much just want to see who they're going to pay their money to, because I don't usually pay people online unless I've spoken to them, because you get a feel of who the person is, because otherwise it could just be some scammer, or it could just be some person who, you know, they're bullshitting on their resume, or they're just not really being truthful. And so you want to get them on a call. And so that's pretty much Upwork. Upwork is one of the easiest ways for a beginner copywriter to get his clients. The next one is email. So Email is where you really scale shit up. If you want to get clients and you're ready to spend a bit of money and you pretty much want to get a lot of leads, like lead is a business owner that you can potentially work with, email is the way to do it. Because with email, you can pretty much think about this in a basic system, right? So with email, you can decide, okay, I've decided that I want to work with YouTube channels. And so when you've decided you want to work with YouTube channels, you create a template email that you're going to send out to all these YouTube channels. You say, hey, blah, 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 my name's XYZ. I think it'd be interesting. Or you just ask a question like, are you doing anything with YouTube scripts right now? Or could I help you make more videos or something like that, right? And you want to personalize every single email that you send out. So you say, a first line about it is like, hey, I loved your video about the new iPhone or something like that. Whatever, let's say we're working with tech channels here. So you send that email out, right? Now you could just go and like choose a ton of tech channels. You'll probably find about 10 before you get bored and you don't want to do it anymore. So pretty much you want to use tools that allow you to do that. And they're called lead scrapers. And so I'll explain that in a moment. About how you actually do that. So the first thing you want to do is set up your shop. And so setting up shop basically looks like, okay, you want to send it from a professional domain. You don't want to just send it from like a Gmail account because it just doesn't look as professional. If you have a professional domain and you have a little email signature at the bottom with a link to your website, people can easily click on your website. You'll probably have your social medias linked on the website as well. They can find out everything they need to know about you in like 15 seconds, which is what they want to do. Because if you draw someone's attention, the first thing someone thinks of, this person is trying to sell me something. Okay, I'm interested. Okay, the next thing I need to do is figure out whether this person's even worth listening to. And then they'll look at your social medias, right? And we'll talk about how to basically build out your social medias in a way that makes people want to work with you very, very soon. That's one of the next steps. And so when you set up your shop, there's a ton of things you have to do here, and it's not stuff I can cover in this video. Basically, there's a lot of stuff related to setting up your emails so that whenever you actually send out a lot of emails to people, they actually get into their inbox and they don't go to spam. And that's called like deliverability and stuff like that. And we teach it inside my private coaching community, but there are probably some YouTube videos you can find out there, but they might be a little bit outdated. So I'd highly recommend you pretty much figure out how to set up your shop. What I would say is your main things are get a professional domain, make sure that your emails are actually going to get delivered, and yeah, pretty much that's it. And make sure that you have a good email signature, right? So let's move on to the next one, scraping a lead list. So scraping a lead list is where you decide, okay, I want to work with YouTube channels that make tech videos. So you need to find a tool that allows you to find the email addresses of all of the channel owners of those channels. So it's quite easy on YouTube to find someone's email address. You go to their about section, you click the little box and it'll give you the email address, right? But you want to do this at scale. You don't want to do it like one by one because that'll take you like 5,000 years before you get a client. You want to do this at scale. So you pretty much want to find a lead scraping tool. And a lead scraping tool is just like a bot or something. It's a website that you can go to that will just pump out 1,000 YouTube channels in that niche. And I'll actually make another video on this, so make sure to subscribe if you want to actually get that video, because if you want to see it, just leave a comment down below, because I might do a video on how to scrape leads from YouTube. But you pretty much scrape that lead list. Then you've got 1,000 business owners, you've got the email address, most likely the first name of these people, and that's when you want to do a cold email campaign. So this is where you have your template email that you're sending out to all these people. You just pretty much load the list into this. You'll have what's called a cold email sending tool, which is a tool that will allow you to pretty much send out like 1,000 emails at a time, and you just load in the email that you have. And you want to personalize every email. There's simple ways to do that where you pretty much use this tool. It'll allow you to have like a first line that will change for every single person that it's being sent to. And so what you want to do is like write a personalized first line on each of those emails. If you don't want to do it yourself, you can pay someone else to do it, because you're going to have to do 1,000 of these. So it's probably worth paying someone else, but you can pay someone else like $2-3 to do that, and they'll do it for you. And so this obviously this email option is like a little bit more expensive, but this is the option that you want to do if you really want to juice out like how many people you're talking to. So once you've done that, you've got your cold email campaign, then you get a response. So let's say you tell the business owner, hey, I'm interested in working with you, or whatever it is, like, are you currently writing YouTube scripts, or do you think you could pay someone to help you do that? They tell you, yeah, I'm actually open to getting someone to pay me, or getting someone to write my YouTube scripts. And so once you get that response, just send over the case study site and just be like, hey, so this is pretty much what I do, and I'd love to speak to you directly. Here's 3 minutes of what I do and some proof that I can get results with YouTube scripts. And then so once you've sent them that, there's going to be a link, a little button on this website that you make. It's a one-page website, and it teaches them it just sends them to book a call with you. So you have a calendar set up where they can book a call, and it'll schedule it in your calendar, where you'll just be sitting there on your phone someday and you'll see XYZ booked a call with you on Tuesday at 6 p.m., right? So that's pretty much how it works. So let's just run over that funnel one more time for email. So if you want to get clients through email, you set up your shop, so you make sure that your emails get delivered. The emails look good whenever they are coming through. Like, you have a little profile picture and you have a professional domain and your name is right. Everything just looks like, if someone gets an email from you, it actually looks like a professional person is sending it and not just some random kid, which is probably who you are right now. Absolutely fine. But you need to look like a professional if you want to get paid like a professional. So you set up your shop, you scrape your lead list, you run a cold email campaign, and then you start to get responses from business owners. This is all broken down into numbers. Like, let's say of 1,000 emails you send out, you get a 15% response rate. So 15% of the people that you sent it to, which would be 150 people, actually reply. And then of those 15%, you send back an email saying, hey, Julie, it's great to hear from you. Please book a call with me here. You can find out everything you need to know about me on this page. And let's say of that 15% of people, that another 50% of them, so basically out of the 150 people that have actually responded, 50% of them click on your website and book a call with you. You now have 50 calls booked. Now, these numbers are not accurate. You're not going to get those percentages, but it's just for demonstration purposes. But you'll then get 50 calls booked, and these are all calls which you can then just line up, close them. When you have your offer, let's say your offer is $3,000 a month, you pretty much say, hey, okay, if I get 50 people on the phone, I then speak to those 50 people, and of those 50 people, 20% of those I close on the call. And so let's say you close 20% of the 50 people who have closed, so that would be 10 people. So whenever you get 50 people on the phone, as you can see, it's basically all a funnel. So you're like, we sent it out to 1,000 people, 150 of them decided to reply. Of that 150, I think I'm doing the math wrong here, but I'm just making these numbers up in my head just to explain this to you. But let's say we get 50 people on the phone and 10 of them decide to close with you. And let's say your offer is $3,000 a month. You now have a $30,000 a month business because you have 10 people paying you $3,000 a month. So that's pretty much how it works. So you need to think about all of this in systems. Most people will start doing outreach and they'll literally just send out emails and hope it works. And they have no idea about the numbers behind it or how to improve those numbers, because let's say you're sending it out to 1,000 people and 30% of the people even click the email or open the email. You could send out a slightly different variation of the email that you're sending out to people, and it might get 40% of people click on the email or open the email. And so with a simple change in a subject line or an email that you've sent, 10% more people, so 100 more people might have replied, and that's 100 more people who could potentially work with you. So whenever you get into running a business like this and you want to get the 10K a month, it's not about magic. It's not about getting lucky. It's just about numbers. It's about hitting certain numbers and improving those numbers until you make more money. So that's all it is. Right. So, and once they've seen the case study site, we go back to our good friend here, booking a call. So once they're qualified, they book on a call, and that's when you close them on a call, right? And you'll only close a certain percentage of the people. So let's go back out, and we want to look next at, so once we've done our outreach, right? So I've covered 2 forms of outreach, and there's one more form of outreach I want to show you here. And this ties in with the next thing that I want to show you, which is content. So if you think about it, right, you have your offer, you have something you want to sell to people, or something that you provide, something that's unique to you that you know people want to buy because you validated your offer. There's a whole training you could get on offers. And if you send me an Instagram message or something and ask for some offer training, I can give you that for free. But pretty much, you have your offer and then you want to sell it to people. So you have two possible options. You can outreach, so you can reach out to people yourself, or you can create content that gets people to come to you. So pretty much what I'm doing right now on YouTube, as you can see, as you're watching this video, is I know that people like you want to build copywriting businesses. And I think, okay, if I make enough valuable content for the people who want to do this, they'll trust me as a valuable source of information and they'll potentially want to work with me. And only a small amount of you will decide, okay, I'm going to invest in this guy, I'm going to work with this guy and actually get myself to that next level. But as you can see, if I'm making content here, I'm attracting people to me because people see that I know what I'm talking about. They see that I get student results. And so they're like, okay, maybe I'll work with this company, right? And so at the start, whenever you're a freelance copywriter, you can also do content. You can provide content to the world showing why you should be worked with, like why people should trust you to work with. And this is one of the key methods that you can use to get clients, right? So the other one's outreach. So this is more like you actually directly reaching out to people. And this one is content, where people reach out to you, right? And so there are tons of different places, which I'm going to show you here, that you can actually create content on. And this also links in with our other outreach method, our final one, which is DMs. So whenever you want to close someone, it's very easy, or it's a lot easier to do it through the DMs than it can be through email. Now, that's not to say that these other two methods don't work, because this one, they all are presented with their own challenges and problems, but they also have their benefits. So let me explain basically how this works, right? And if I'm moving too quickly, I apologize about that. I'm trying to deliver a lot of value here because I know most of you will have a basic understanding of the basics of this stuff. I'll have videos on my channel that explain all these things a little bit simpler if this is your first time seeing me. So I'll make sure to link some of those down below, or you can just check out my channel and have a look. So we have our content here and we have our DMs, right? And so these are all the different platforms I recommend you use. So we have School. School, if you don't know what it is a community-based platform where business owners have communities of their customers, or possibly a YouTube creator or an Instagram creator will have a community of people that follow them, and pretty much they are in groups on School. It's kind of like Facebook groups, but more targeted at actual business owners. So you can create content on School, and it might be a community full of business owners who may need copywriters. So you generally want to vet. You want to figure out like groups where the people that I want to work with hang out. So let's say you want to work with tech YouTubers, right? You'd want to join communities that have tons of tech YouTubers, and they exist. And you can find out pretty much anyone you want to work with will have a community, because you can just search for it, right? It's so easy. So one second, I'm just gonna like fix this because it's a little bit dark. Okay, sweet. So School, you can create content on School. So how I recommend you do that, right? So on School, you can pretty much make posts about anything that would help your target audience. You can also comment on other people's posts and respond to them. So if someone has a question, let's say about, hey, why is nobody clicking my content? Or why are people not watching my YouTube videos long enough? And you, as a verified sort of script writing expert on YouTube, you can just swoop in and be like, all right, well, the reason they're not watching is because your intros to your videos are too long and you're wasting people's time and you're not telling them what they want to hear. And so that way you can pretty much provide like advice on the thing that they have a problem with. And when you do that, someone will see that you're actually providing valuable advice that makes sense, and it only works if you're actually providing like advice that makes sense. And this is where your ability comes in. When we talked about that right at the top here, this is where actually getting good at what you want to do or what you want to offer is very important, because if you make content to get attention and you're not good at what you do, it'll come across very obviously that you don't know what you're doing. So on School, you can very easily just post about stuff that you're good at, be like, these are the 3 best intro hooks for tech YouTubers, and this is how you do it, right? And so you don't sell. Whenever you make these posts, you don't be like, this is what a beginner would do, right? You don't say at the end of it, oh, come and work with me. It's, I'm gonna I'm going to help tech YouTubers get more views on YouTube with blah, blah, blah. If you do that, you'll get kicked out of the communities for spam, right? So what you do instead is you just provide value, and you just expect that people are going to take notice of you, which they will. And so in your bio on your school account, which is basically your Facebook account, you can say, hey, I'm Matthew, I write YouTube scripts for tech YouTubers. And so that way you're not being spammy, you're just providing value. Then people go and look at your profile, which they will do, and then they'll text you being like, the word school or something like that. Like you can say in your bio, DM me the word school and I'll help you with XYZ, right? And so that's one way of getting clients. And so again, it follows the simple system. Qualify them. So this is where qualification comes in, and it's very important. And it's pretty much like, someone might message you, but they might have a tech channel that has like 50 subscribers, which means they probably have no money to invest in a scriptwriter like yourself. And so this is why you need to qualify them. And so once you qualify someone, if you've decided, okay, they have enough money to pay, they're interested in working with me, you book them on a call with you. Then once you book them on a call, you sell them on your service, which is I write 10 scripts a month for YouTubers in the tech industry, and then you close them and you make 3K, right? And if they're unqualified, so if you find out, okay, this person doesn't have money, so if you find that out in the DMs by basically asking them questions about themselves, like, are you in a position to invest in a scriptwriter? Then if they're unqualified, you just add them to your email list. And then whenever they are ready to work with you, you can send them an email and they'll take notice, and they'll be like, all right, I want to book a call. I'm actually able to do this, right? And so school is one way to do it that's a really good way if you're a beginner, because you can just draw a lot of attention by providing value. And you'll also see how good you are. This is a good way of getting feedback on, do you actually know what you're talking about? Because if you're posting on school and nobody's responding and nobody's DMing you, it tells you you need to get better at what you're posting about, right? Very, very simple. Instagram is another one. Now, this is more simple. Pretty much on Instagram, I wouldn't, like, if I were a complete copywriting beginner, chances are it's going to be hard to make content for copywriting on Instagram. So this is mostly a DMs one. So this is where you reach out to business owners who are on Instagram and have Instagram pages, and you DM those people being like, hey, I do XYZ. Again, you find people who are in your niche and you target them on Instagram. You shoot them a quick DM, be like, hey, are you doing anything with YouTube scripts right now? And they say no. You say, okay, let's book a call, blah, blah, blah. So Instagram, you can also make sure that your profiles are professional on every account, which I told you about on Fiverr, but it's important that you have it on School and Instagram as well. And then the next one is LinkedIn. So you can pretty much do the exact same thing on School, except on LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, you can post value. You're not going to be posting it communities. You'll be posting it on your own wall. And then you can just basically start sending out connections to people. So you can add people like you would on Facebook, you can add people like friends on LinkedIn. So you'd basically go and find a ton of people who are in your industry, and you would shoot friend requests out every single day. Maybe you send 20 friend requests a day, and that's 20 people who see your profile. You say on your profile what you do and who you help, and then they see some of your content and they're like, oh, this guy actually seems to know what he's talking about, or he's entertaining, or I like him. And then they follow you, and then again, you just get them into the DMs, you qualify them, you book them on a call, and you close them on the call, right? Very simple. So that's pretty simple. The last three are pretty simple again. Discord is where you'll find a lot of communities of business owners. Generally, it's going to be like digital business owners. So YouTubers are perfect for this. A lot of YouTubers will be in Discord communities who, they want to actually, like, they're friends with other YouTubers and they hang out there. So you basically post value, provide value. If someone has questions, you answer them, or you just make introductions. You just say, hey, I'm Matthew, I do this, blah, 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 and I can possibly help you someday. But you don't pitch them too quickly, right? You just build up a little bit of a relationship with people, and over time you get known as the good scriptwriter guy. Next one, Twitter. So Twitter is where you can be a little bit more sort of, you're posting a lot more, and you can also reach out to people in the DMs on Twitter, but you generally want to have good content. So if you're not making content, right, it becomes a little bit harder to close people, because people want to know a little bit about you and they want to see what you can do. If you can't demonstrate, if you're a writer and you can't demonstrate that you can write in a way that draws attention and it makes people want to take an action on the stuff that you write, then people aren't going to believe that you can actually do a good job. So if you're doing all this stuff, if you're on these different platforms, and you can do all of these at once if you want, I recommend you focus on one or two and get really, really good at those, and then maybe just repurpose the content that you're making. So let's say you're tweeting every day, you can put that stuff on Instagram, on LinkedIn, Instagram, School. You can just put the same thing out on all the platforms. So if you're doing that, people are starting to see, okay, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. I'm going to, guess what? I'm going to go and DM him, or he's going to DM me. You qualify them, figure out if they're unqualified, and then you just get them on a call and you close them, right? It's pretty simple. And so that's pretty much how it works, right? So this is pretty much the 3 most effective sort of outreach methods to get clients. And we have Upwork, and then we have DMs. And obviously the last thing is just actually delivering the service. So what happens whenever you close somebody? Well, you pretty much just want to deliver the service, do a good job, and make them want to do it again. And that's probably an entire other video, but this is the system that you need to use, and it will get you to 10K a month. And I can guarantee that if you follow this, it is literally math. It is not, it's not magic or anything like that. It's literally math if you follow this system, right? So I have one last thing I want to talk to you about. So where do we go next? You're watching this video, and hopefully I've provided enough value that you feel like at least I know what I'm talking about. So your 2 options are to go it alone. So you can learn copywriting, you can do it all by yourself, and you can do this for a while, no problem. You can watch all my YouTube content, learn how to do it, practice it, get good, and then you can start building all of these systems yourself and start posting content. The problem with doing it by yourself is it's quite lonely, and it's also difficult because anytime you get a problem, you have no one to ask, or you maybe post it on a free community or something where not many people who actually know what they're talking about are hanging out on. So you can try joining free communities on School or on Reddit or wherever you go, and you can ask people, but you're pretty much only going to be speaking to other complete beginners who have no idea what they're talking about. And so I highly recommend that you go for option 2 here, which is you apply for my coaching program. And I'm very, very openly selling you on my coaching program here, because I know that if you're watching this video and you've watched this far specifically, that you're probably a good fit for this, because you're someone who's paid enough attention to an entire video about a system for building a business. And the fact that you stayed here, I guarantee if I showed you the retention on the YouTube, sort of the YouTube analytics here, 90% of the people have stopped watching by this point, and it's because they're not serious about making money. So if you're serious about making money as a copywriter, you can go it alone. You can also apply for coaching. I would love to have you as a client. How do you apply for coaching? There's a link in the description where you can pretty much just send me a DM on Instagram. We'll send you some, like I'll send you to a quick video which explains exactly what I do, so you're not under any illusions. You know exactly how I help people, who I help. I don't just help anybody and everybody. I want people who are good fits for our coaching community to come in. And then once you do that, you watch that quick video, you can shoot me a message on Instagram, and I'll personally reply to you and see how we can work together, because we absolutely get the best results in the copywriting game for beginners, and we have an absolutely amazing team of people who help us do that. So if that's something you want to do, make sure to apply for our coaching. But hopefully this video has been valuable for you, and I will see you in the coaching community, hopefully, or maybe on a YouTube video. I'll also link a video on screen right now that teaches you how to get clients, or how to do something that I've taught you in this video. Highly recommend you watch it.